Hello YouTube friends, welcome to the Red Parrot channel. I'm your host Mary Ellen. This is an episode of Slow Stitching, subcategory So Saturday. This is Saturday and I am doing an hour of stitching catch up, as it were. So right off the hop, my coat requires 2 machine seams with the denim that are about 2 inches long. I have not sewn those 2 seams. It will take me less than 3 minutes. I haven't sewn them. I have had other things that have occupied my mind that are sewing. Cup of tea. So review. So let's do this. I think you've seen the sewing bag that I made because I needed to have that to be able to make these socks, which are Blue Jay colorways. So sock 1, donesie done. Kind of like. Very nice. Don't look too close at the toe. We'll fix it in post. I haven't done a Kitchener in a while. And we are to there on sock number 2. So we are bombing along. Yay me. So that's occupation number 1. What's so heavy in here? Oh, the book. Never mind. So we've got that. Now, recall that we have these hexies that we are working on. These hexies look like this. I showed you one before, so here's one. Here is 2. And here is 3. And I am this far along on the 4th one. So I'm gonna zoom you out a bit, I think, maybe. Oh, yep, so we are. With my shirt. If that's either paint or chocolate, I'm not sure which. So let's move that out of the way. Move that. So here is what I think is my thought. That I'm going to be able to do like that kind of a rotation. Okay, let's do this properly. So there. Do that, so that will be one sort of seam, and yep. Nope. Yep. So it'll either go that way or the other place, so that way or this way, yeah. And then we will have these in a pattern, but not really a pattern. But they will be distributed in some kind of an even way. So we are getting really close to having a base of fabric for this, and I am super excited about that. This goes really quickly when you have the hexies big enough. So I'm thinking, nothing in stone, 2 things. One, I would really love to put something down here that describes what the thing is. So let's see if we can do it. Onion, beech clover, walnut, sage flower, sage iron dyed, marigold. There we are. And I have done these all the same rotation, just in case there was any question. And that's why the when I'm moving them around, it works as well as it does. So I'm either going to stamp it or write it or do something. I might do it on the front. I might do it maybe as a corner. I don't know. The other thing that I'm thinking of is that I might want to quilt it. One of the quilting methods that I could do is just sort of do the inside of the hexie like that, which might be fine. You can't really, well, maybe you could. Maybe you could. Yeah, so two choices at the moment. I'm either going to follow these lines and go straight through, and then basically these get cut up into 6, or I do the inside. I'm not sure which will look better. So we've got that. So that's update number 1. That's 2, because I said I had the seam. We're not there yet on the seam. Come on, let go. So we might do another bit of this when we get to it. So I've got that, the socks, that's 3. So what has taken my time? So this is one of the things that has taken my time. Another Blue Jays giveaway. So this is the City Connects. So a lot of the cities in the MLB network, so the Major League Baseball network, are connected to cities. And they want the MLB team to connect to the city and then reflect the city somehow in the uniforms. And Toronto has this as a logo, and the colors are black and blue and red. And so this is the sort of design. I guess that's a better look at it. And I have been embellishing it. So beading, those are sequins. And I saw K3N do this thing on her comforter quilt, and I went, ooh, I like that idea. And put a pin in that, ooh, I like that idea, as a, we'll revisit that. So I've got this, which is kind of sparkly, not super sparkly. Sparkly adjacent? I don't know. But I was thinking that we could weave, not sew, through the stitches here. So the hat brim has got just rounds and rounds of stitching to make it this kind of a solid thing. And I could do this and then bounce 90 degrees and then bounce 90 degrees and then sort of do one in red, one in blue, one in black, and then see where we get, and might repeat that one more time. I'm not sure. So it's another thing I've got. So this, not planned, not part of the sheet, just so you know. Second thing, not planned, not part of the sheet, is this. So this is, what did I do? So recall that I made the project bags and the needle holders for my baseball crew. One of my baseball crew is all that in a bag of nuts in Apple, and provided me this shirt. It might be a retail shirt. It might be just a team. Is there anything on the back? No, team shirt. It's beautiful. Like, it's really, really lovely fabric. So I have seen people modify these kinds of shirts by, say, taking this off and taking that off and maybe cropping by a bunch and then crocheting the space. So it's a combination of, you're not crocheting the whole thing, you're just crocheting the trim. And this purple is as good a match as you're ever going to get. This is Loops and Threads, house brand for Michaels. And it is rayon from bamboo. I didn't know bamboo gave rayon, but all right. It's very soft, it really is. So I'm thinking that that might be something that I want to do, because of course it is. Again, I saw somebody on the internet do this, and I went, ooh, I want to be able to do that. So that's another project. This is why I should not be allowed on the internet. Okay, and now we visit, and we just need to do a bit of an audit here. So this is so K3N Cloth Tales did a weekly slow stitch in 2024. And I kept up possibly until week 21. I'm not sure. So we will see what all we have. So these are the squares. Oops, I got bits falling out. That's not ideal. So so this I think is in reverse order. Okay, so let's do it in proper order. So this one, ooh, I like that. So this was community. Oh, we need to go back. I think. Did we go back? We did not. Let's go back. There. I can see things better. Community. This was balance. Diversity. Oh, I love that one. So that's me. That's my mom. And that's my Nana. And that's my Aunt Mary. And all four here are sewing people, fiber people. And I don't know why how diversity made it that way. Well, there we are. Okay, 4 is choice. Oh, that's fun. 5 is English paper piecing. Oh, more hexies. I like that. 6 is Trixie fabric. Ooh. Yes, there is Trixie fabric in here, and that's Thread Bunny. 4 is Scrappy Heart. Oh, I like that. Ooh, it's beaded too. Yum! And that I did. That is part of the tea iron dyeing thing I was doing. This is Pajaji, which I really appreciated having the experience with this because I have done it a lot since. That was just some lovely linen pieces. 9 pants. Oh my goodness, and I have applique. An EPP frame. This is more of my own dyeing and also more of this dyeing here. This is Raw Edge Freeform Applique. I like that. Kawandi. Oh, I like the back of that. Ooh, yeah, that one turned out nice. Okay, books, Spring Equinox. So there is Spring Equinox, and then there is Sometime Later. I'm gonna put that up so we can compare it once we get there. Friendship. Ooh, it's another hand-dyed. Layers with Moon and Wolf. Oops. That looks like an owl. Okay, all right, we've gone off here. So this must be layers, but it's not wolf, it's an owl. So maybe that was just an error on my part. I like that. That's nice. Eclipse, solar, yeah, so this is the eclipse. Stitching on pattern. Nope, nope, nope. Earth and ocean. Okay, so this was the idea of this being a proportion of the planet, where this is the amount of water and this is the amount of land space. So the blue is water, this is land, and it's sort of like a 25-75. And I have some First Nation kind of fabric that has got whales on it. Okay. Stitching on pattern. Oh yeah, I did not like this one at all. So that worked, but you cannot barely see that there is a red cross. There's a cross here. It's way easier to see on that side. So I should have used a darker, this color, much darker tone. Okay, next is a pocket. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that works charm. Next one is kintsugi. Okay. Desert Island 8 items. What the heck is that? No idea. No idea what that is. I think it might have been a free. Something, maybe? Sure. I like those squares though. They're kind of fun. Oh, this is getting yummy. No. What's this then? Boro Sashiko? Okay, we're really losing the plot. Oh yeah, so this was some of the stuff that I was also dyeing, and you can sort of see there I was putting salt, but not table salt, like a Himalayan red salt that I got at the dollar store that you just sort of do this, and there's probably some kind of specific chemical in it that basically is bleaching out some of this. I don't know which one that one is. This one. Okay. No, so this one, is this blanket stitch? Maybe? This might be crazy. Quilt? I don't know. We'll have to look back. And then this, so these go together. So these were done as a pair. And we were doing this in the spring. So it's this, from the same fabric, you can tell. This was the spring equinox. This is the summer solstice. And then we sewed them both at the same time. They looked the same. And then this was buried outside from spring until summer equinox, summer solstice. And then that's when we undid them and had a booski boo. And so those are the different, the sort of the differences, the what even just that little amount of time, what that does to fabric. And I would have had an iron piece in it. I would have had twigs. I buried it under a tree that my mom planted, which was a cedar. And I don't know that there was anything else special. And you can see that's where I probably placed that on there as either part of the bottom or the top. You can see how it sort of migrated through. So anyways, that was fun. There we are. So one of the reasons why I got this out is because I don't have enough art up. And when I was doing, who is it? There's a person on the internet. I can't remember her name. She did a tag a week through one of the pandemics. And I have the tags pinned to cardboard and then a very sort of soft makeshift display. And I think I want to do that with some of these because there's no point in just having them in a box. And also this will help me see them and then hopefully get this project done, which I put on my list. So there we are. I cleaned. So what do we want to do? I'll get back to the cleaning in a second. I can either do this or I can try this sewing, and I think I want to do this. We're kind of on a roll with this one. So what do I want to say? Yes, I cleaned. Probably can't tell, but I have cleaned this. There's no more threads going all over the place in there. I have a large steamer trunk, which is a sort of a feature in one of my spaces. And see, found one of my work jars. And it has stacked 2.5 feet deep with material, beads, thread, projects, etc., etc., etc. And it tipped over, scared the cat, and I couldn't get it rebalanced. So I thought, okay, fine, well, that's going to be on the list for things to clean. Pardon me while I thread. So I got it cleaned, and I counted how many projects that I had in that space. And it was a shocking number. It was like, I don't know why the number 11 comes to mind, but they were either projects underway, projects to begin, at the start of an assembly that will be eventually a project. I'm just going to do this as well. This is beeswax. And it just seems to do just that little bit extra on the old thread. That's kind of how I want that, I think. Okay. Hang on. I can't talk and be precise at the same time. So I think I've got all of the projects recorded on my little sheet of paper of all of the things. Have I added the hat and the shirt? I don't know if I have or not. I oughter if I haven't. Oh dear. This is what happens. That's part of the way my brain copes or brain functions. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I am just saying I'm reporting what is. Oh, and speaking of reporting what is, so there's forgive me when I say this, there's a person on the internet, on YouTube as a matter of fact, who, her name is something weird. Like the site is Honey Bunch and I think it's Onion Tops. And she has some kind of chronic illness neurodiversity. She's also a writer, I think. Well, she must, because she's got a couple of books. anyways, the video that I'm looking at is 6 tips on how to feed your neurodivergent self. And it's not about diets, as in, you know, banana diet, the south east winds diet, or the Instagram influencer diet, or whatever. It is a methodology on how to feed yourself when your brain doesn't necessarily function the way everybody else's does. And my circle of care and I have spent a great deal of time trying to get me to eat. Eat well, eat regularly, properly, all the things. Nuts. And we keep using sort of, oh dear, this is not ideal. We keep using the premise that I have just my brain is fine. My brain is not fine. So why do we keep trying to use those methods? Oh, there we are. Thank you. So I went searching for somebody with some different kinds of experience. Anyways, long story short, found this person, gave it a listen, and I'm going to give it a try. And tip number 1, which is, so right off the hop, she says, okay, if you're going to do this, then know that this is not like, oh, you do this and in 2 weeks you're sorted. You're not. She said, like, this is a work in progress. You may need like 3-6 months to get yourself to a refined state. And I think I've only done, I can only remember tip 1, so we'll just talk about tip number 1. Tip number 1 has 3 parts. Part 1, question. What do you like to eat? What a question. What a question. Nobody's ever asked me, what do I like to eat? It has always been nutrient driven, as in you need to have a protein, you need to have a this, you need to have that, you need to have this, you need to have that, and just have those in some kind of rotation, which is totally true. I'm not saying that it's not, but that's not the primary need for me at the moment. So step number 1, what do you like to eat? And this has been really interesting. It's like, oh, the reason why I don't ever eat that when I buy it is because I don't really like it. But somebody told me that I should have it. Oh dear, did it again. There. So are these large, I went and bought a couple of, the French word is cahier. It's like a really inexpensive exercise book. That's what they call them. And it pulled out the staples so that I have a double spread. So I think this kind of work needs some space. So I've started to make notes of what I like and what I don't like. Second part is, how did she say it? It's something around non-food item preferences, like food texture, so, or smell, or things like that. So I think there are people who, for example, really don't like having their food touching. So if you give them like 5 things on a plate, the 5 things, it becomes very upsetting if the food sort of blends into one another. Other people totally don't care. That's all right. They use their brain. Other people use their brains. The texture of food. So sometimes there are just like a texture, like, oh, that feels slimy, or too cold or too hot, or the presenter does not like soup or stews because there is something about the soup and the stew being kind of like overly liquidy that she doesn't like. So there's no point in her making stews because it's the mouthfeel. Mouthfeel is actually a legit term, apparently, in Shishifu cooking. Also the circumstances around food. So I'm trying to think of, for example. Again, not the food, but I really like eating with my hands. I love a bowl and a spoon. Things like that. There are people as well that will talk about the good spoon or the good fork, and there is some kind of quality to that spoon that is textural, tangible, that is either pleasing or not pleasing. So understanding that as well is like, if if you don't like a bowl, if you need to have a plate, then you're probably not going to get a lot of soup. But it's sort of the non-food aspect of eating that is identified here. And the next thing under the number 1 is, what are the rules around food and food preparation that you grew up with? So that might be finishing everything on your plate, or you eat at a specific time, or it's not a meal without potatoes or without fill in whatever the other food piece is. What else did she talk about? There's one more thing. I can see it in my mind. At least I can see my worksheet. Oh, what are the barriers and obstacles to eating, the consumption of food, and the preparation of food? So not the food type itself, but what is a barrier to eating? Again, it is not about the food. It is about all of the experiences around the food. And I'm trying to think of anything that I had. So, super obvious one. If there's no spoons, I have no spoons to cook, and I have no spoons possibly to eat. The wrong kinds of, I eat for the wrong kinds of reasons. So sometimes it's to self-soothe. If there is depression, anxiety, some kind of a stress event. It's the same thing with making food. Oh, also in the what food you like, there's also the category of what food would you happily have the leftovers of, which I think is a really useful thing. So that means that when you make it in a batch format, and it's like, oh, you know what? I get leftover whatevers tomorrow. It's going to be something that you look forward to. So there is a lot of systems thinking in this diet planning. Oh, that was another thing about routines, beliefs about food, that you made a plan for the week, you shopped once a week, and that was that. And she talked about her need to go to a quiet grocery store, which I found really interesting. So let's not go peak noon on a Saturday, but go at some other time. And some grocery stores, I did not know this, have quiet times, or at least where she's from. So between the hours of this and that, specifically designed for low like low noise and not a lot of people, which I thought was interesting. So anyways, her name is Honey Bunch, and I think onion tops. And it's for people with they are neurospicy, chronic illnesses, and other food consumption challenges. It makes you think about food in a completely different way, and this might be a way for me to solve, or at least improve, my food intake. In case anybody's worrying, I have a full circle of care. They are on it. We are on it. I am under the watchful eye and monitoring of professional people to make sure that I don't fall over in a heap. I have no idea whether or not you can see this. This stitching, so I have progressive lenses, and I need this a certain distance from my face for me to be able to see it. So it might be that it's going in and out of focus. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to let that unspin. Here. Oops. If I remember, I will leave a link or the name of the YouTube site in the schnotes. Kathleen Madigan calls her podcast information the show notes, and she has shortened it because she's a stand-up comedian to the schnotes, and I think YouTube ought to adopt that as a standard phrase. So by schnotes, I mean description box. Oh, and here's another thing that I did. Hang on, let me finish this first. Hank Green, you may know, who is a see, it's not a perfect, some of these are not perfect, which is fine. They get themselves sorted out. Well, we did all the way around. We're just going to do that then. Does that make sense? Dark. Wow. Pick one. There, done. So yes, Hank Green is a science educator, and he has created, along with some help, an app that you can download. What's the app name? I don't know. Hang on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get undone here first. I will be right back. Back. It is called Focus Friend. Focus Friend. It is a little bean. It's a kind of like Tamagotchi, but it's not Tamagotchi. What this does is it's a little character, a bean of some description, that you can set to work knitting. And let's say you don't want to pay attention to your screen for 20 minutes. You need to go wash the dishes. And it's like, I just can't get off the screen. So you go to that app and you say, okay, I want to set the little bean working on knitting for 20 minutes. And then you hit go. You have a timer countdown, like 5 seconds or something to cancel it. But if it starts knitting. And the moment you interact with your device, it will stop knitting and lose all of its stitches. As a fiber artist, that speaks to my soul. Apparently, it also speaks to a lot of other people who don't knit, because the idea of causing even a fictitious other thing to lose its work has meaning for the human brain. So it is wildly successful. So I decided, well, that's useful, because we've been here long enough. I just spent the last half hour talking about this food app. We got brain issues. And so coming back into the real world from the digital world is something that is really useful for me, to be able to find a way to do that. And this app seems to be working quite nicely. And so over time, you accumulate knitting. Buddy's knitting socks. That's sort of a standard thing. And you can trade in your bundles of socks for decor. Like you can, he's got a little room, or it's got a little room. And you can, buy furniture and plants and decor and all that kind of stuff. I have not bought any decor yet, but I have been using it to make socks, and boy, does it ever make a difference. It's like my brain suddenly goes, well, fine, I can't do that now. And it's not like I just put it down, but it's I've put it down and it's busy now. And that, I think, is the difference. It's not just away, it's away and busy. So apparently it's the top downloaded app in some part of the world for some duration. And yay, woohoo. There is a, you can buy more features on the app if you want, or you can just keep it free. And I really appreciate all of the makers of brain apps that have, well, here's the core function that if you don't have the money, you can still get a decent amount of benefit. My Finch app does the same thing. Finch app is another app that I have. It allows for rudimentary tasks to be done. So in mental health world, we call them ADLs, which are activities of daily life. So washing your face, doing the dishes, feeding the cat, whatever else. You can add, subtract, do whatever. And it will give you rewards, and it's a whole thing. It also provides regular emotional support, I guess. Encouragement. Let's call it encouragement. Like, you're doing great today. I believe in you. That kind of stuff that is really nice. And every time you log into it, there is a positive affirmation that it gives you. Like, I am worthy of taking up space, or I am learning new things, or whatever. What are we doing? Yeah, I think we're okay. Freaking myself out here. Where's this go? Here. Here. Okay, so this one goes here. Yes. Okay. It'll probably press it. We'll probably press out. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll press out. It's the English paper piecing version of we'll fix it in post. I've also been doing a bunch of cleaning. I have had no... I think the summer of so much heat has just taken a huge toll on my paper crafting practice. And so I decided that I would give the whole area a nice clean, just wherever I'm at on whatever the projects are, just clean up the space, just touch it and, you know, throw out what I don't need and put things away and so on and so forth. So that's been quite helpful. So maybe at some point I will be able to do paper crafting again. Yep. Though I'm almost certain that it's going to be kind of dodgy. And the reason why I say that is because this time last year and the year before, we had a crappy baseball team. And there was no interesting baseball in, well, I'm going to be super generous and say for August and September. But frankly, it was the whole year. But let's just say August and September. This is not that year. We have a decent team. And there are a lot of things that come after baseball. And sometimes, a lot of times, these are night games. And so my time to do craft stuff is often in the morning. And when you've had a hard night out that has been late, energetic, and emotional, it is really hard to get up in the morning and be able to concentrate enough to do fine motor skills with paper. We have a new pitcher now. We bought him at the deadline. And his name is Shane Bieber, as in Justin Bieber, but Shane. No relation, I don't think. Anyways, he's a really good pitcher. But he's had Tommy John surgery. And Tommy John surgery, Tommy John was a person who had surgery. And so it is elbow surgery on your throwing arm because it's a wear and tear injury. Anyways, he hadn't pitched since April 2024. A very long time. We traded for him anyways. Got him. And night before? Last night was his first outing since the surgery, and also as a Blue Jay. And holy smokes, is he ever good. Like, really good. Ooh, my. He is a good pitcher. So, he's another player we need to wrap and bubble wrap to make sure that we keep him well and whole. But I really want to see him pitch live because he is very, very good at his job. It's so interesting to see masters of the work do the work and see how differently they do it from other decent professionals. No aspersions to any other, you're really, you're at the top of your job. You're the 1%, but then there's a 1% of the 1%. And then the degree to which they are that much better than the original 1%. If that makes any sense at all. Anyways, Shane Bieber, really good pitcher. Wow. Just an absolute joy to watch. Just throw, boom, throw, boom, throw, boom. Next. Wow. We have a couple of pitchers who are decent. Again, 1 percentile. Do not go anywhere near as fast as that. They faff and they fiddle and they move and they this and that. It's like, oh my goodness. Okay, so there's that. Oh, we're almost at an hour. Look at us. We're half done this one. Ooh. So maybe next Saturday, I'm trying to think of what I'm doing next Saturday. I think we'd be okay. Next Saturday, we should be able to see where these 4 fall. And then start to get on the next part, which is kind of exciting. Okay, let's put that all the way in there. That all the way in there. It does smooth itself out. So it's a little bit of a, just barely, but once that gets pressed and sewn, that's gonna be gorgeous. So if I was gonna do this, I saw K3N is doing she's doing her moon squares on a 9 patch, and she's using green as the color of thread. Green might be the right color for this as well. Because this is kind of purpley, so green and purple, green and orange. Green works there. Green is connected, and that is green. So we need to find the right color of green. Where's the other one? I don't have the, I know the one I don't have. I don't have this one. So it goes that way. Oh, well, I wonder where that one went. Well, it's probably somewhere. And I will find it by the time we see each other again. So I think that I'm going to call that video. Yay us. Hope you enjoyed. I'll put the links in the description below for the Honey Bunch video and also for the Hank Green Put Your Device to Sleep for an Hour app. And I think that is all for now. So please take very good care of yourself. Stay out of trouble. Always love you lots, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.